9 times. To quote Ferris Bueller, 9 times in a row. The Phillies have won as we welcome you here to Phillies Postgame Live, brought to you by Cure Auto Insurance. Amy Fiddle, Ben Davis, and Ben. I mean, listen, they're not always pretty. They're not always, 10-0, but they found a way to grind it out today. Zack Wheeler pitched an absolute gem. A little bit of diciness from the bullpen. What do you think about this 9th straight win from the Phils?
Well, I thought it was well-deserved. They definitely went out there. They had a good game plan against Bumgarner, got him out after 5 innings. He ended up throwing 91 pitches through 5 innings, so they made him work. That was good to see. Nice 2-out knock by Castellanos in the first inning after Reese had hit that double. Harper was 2 for 3 again. Stott with another big homer, 2-run homer off of just a bad breaking ball that Bumgarner threw earlier in that ball game. And they added on. I mean, it wasn't the prettiest check swing, but Nick Castellanos had when it goes down as a double and another RBI for Nick. And it was a well-deserved win. They played good defense. My hat is off to Matt Vierling for the defensive work that he did at second base, his first ever big league start at second base. It was just a really good team effort. Again, it took 9 guys, well, 10, including Zack Wheeler, to get this done. A couple guys out of the bullpen, but for the most part, it was a really good win.
And Bryce Harper running like his hair was on fire on that check swing. We're going to hear from Rob Thomson, who has yet to lose. We're also going to check in with John Kruk, but we were talking about the 9 straight wins. Let's see where that ranks in history. You have to go back to the 2011 season, going from the end of July to the beginning of August to get the 9 in a row. And then you can see what else is standing in their way. 10 games in the 09 season, and then 11 straight in the 2010 season. This is rarefied air. They had never started the month of June. It's the first time in franchise history they started the month of June 9-0. So it's been winning all around, and we're going to keep winning as we welcome in our John Kruk now. And Krucker, I mean, you guys talked to Castellanos. With everything they do, it seems like it's just starting to snowball. Even check swings are coming through. We saw it with Gregorius the other night. You saw it with Castellanos tonight.
Yeah, Amy, that's part of the deal. When you're playing really good baseball, you're going to get breaks. And, look, a lot of teams, though, they get a break and they don't know how to capitalize. Well, the Phillies have been capitalizing on some breaks that they've been getting. And, it's just been so fun to watch these last 9 games, just the way their starting pitching's been. The bullpen has been really good. But these young kids, we keep coming back to these young kids, and Castellanos said it perfectly. When he came up, Dombrowski gave him 2 years. And he said, it was a struggle, but he said, I learned. And the only way you're going to catch up to the speed of this game is by playing. You can't do it sitting on the bench and watching. You can't do it if they're sending you back to AAA. You have to play. And Stott and Maton, before he got hurt, those guys were figuring this thing out, and it's going to be fun to watch this team as they keep going.
You see the Phillies' first time over 500 at 30-29 since they were 3-2 on April 12th. I mentioned the start to June 9-0. They've never started June 9-0. It's all things are happening in good things. And you don't want to – listen, we know they're not going to win every single game from here on out.
Why not?
But that's right. My apologies. That's it. Just 29 losses, and they're going to win everything else in the rest of the season. But it's important right now when you look at the standings, because it's never too early. The Braves keep on winning. They have to keep on winning. You have to beat the teams that are below 500.
You do. And hopefully this trend can continue, because the Phillies have struggled with this in years past. Now, the Braves are a very good ball club. Obviously, they won the World Series last year. The Mets are a very good ball club, and they continue to win despite a bevy of injuries that they have sustained in recent weeks. The starting rotation is not built for that right now with the Mets, but they still find ways to win. You got Alonso and Marte on the IL, but they're still finding ways to win. So again, like to your point, Amy, they need to make sure they already won the series against the Diamondbacks. I'm not okay with that.
Right.
I look at a ball club right now, and I was driving back from the ballpark today in my truck, and I heard Larry Anderson. It's hard to believe that the Diamondbacks have the record that they do, because we haven't really seen a lot from them in this series. So I'd say, keep the pedal to the metal and win the series tomorrow. Get that sweep, because all these games, they're going to come down to, I think it's going to come down to the last couple of weeks in September. I do, the way all these teams are playing. So might as well get yours while you can.
Absolutely. You and John were just talking about the excellent outing from one Zack Wheeler. Let's take a look at his day. 6 innings pitched. We mentioned just the 2 hits, no earned. Of course, 8 strikeouts and no walks. 98 Is that surprising that they pulled him after 98 to you, even though he had a little bit extra rest coming off paternity list?
Yeah, he did have a little bit extra rest, and he was in cruise control, and that's why there was no innings there where he had to labor. They weren't stressful innings by any means. Just the 2 hits there. Peralta had the one off the wall early in the ball game, but they weren't touching him. I mean, he was staying off barrels. The 8 strikeouts obviously were great. I love the fact that there were no walks. So I was a little surprised because he did have that extra rest, but he is a new papa, so maybe he needs his rest to, take care of the baby.
They want to be very careful with him. You'll remember that Zack Wheeler had a bit of a slow start to the season, but his ERA in his last 8 starts is a 1.42. I mean, that's a huge improvement after what we had a bit of a rocky start. It
was a bit of a rocky start, but he just didn't have his sea legs under him. It was a kind of a up and down spring training for him. He just wasn't ready out of the chute, but now he's got the full arsenal going. And I referenced the curveball, before the game. It's something that doesn't throw an awful lot, but he started to mix it behind in counts. Because if I'm a hitter and I know I got a 2-1 count or a 1-0 count, I want to attack his fastball, and not that I want to because it's a mid to upper 90s fastball, but that's what you're getting yourself ready to hit. And all of a sudden you see that, and you're like. And it's in for a strike. You're like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Like, that's not fair to be able to do that. But that's what he was able to do. He was able to manipulate the baseball today and spin it. And it turned out really well for him. 6 innings, I still think he could have gone 1 more.
Let's check in with a man who is undefeated, 8-0 as the Phillies manager, Rob Thomson.
So this is, Bellatti's out. That was huge. The decision to go to him, you want to turn around Marte and
yeah, and you want a right-hander against Marte and you want slider, and so we thought that was probably the better matchup. And Familia did a pretty good job. First 2 hitters, he gets out, then base hit, and then the chopper in front of the plate, and that might have sped him up a little bit in the walk. So I thought it was time to kill it.
Sir Anthony today, might you go to him for that out?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So Bellotti really stepped up.
Yeah, he did. And that's what you have to do when you're, doing this type of thing is it's next man up, and when somebody's down, the next guy steps up and gets the job done. So he did it. It was good. It's a big out.
And today, of course, he played virulently at second base for the first time in his life. I think all 6 ground balls hit his way, turned to force.
Yeah.
Popped it up.
Yeah. Yeah, he played great.
It was a risk to play him at second base, but you know what I mean? It seems like everything's going right, and he did.
Yeah, he looked very comfortable. He wasn't really extended all that much, but every ball that was hit to him, he made it, and it made it clean.
Get another check swing double today to try and run. Kind of following on Todd's question, like, you guys are playing well, but does it also kind of feel like, everything's working?
Yeah, and that's, as I've said before, that's the way it is, right? When you're going good, you're getting some breaks, you're getting their defense to, make some mistakes at times, and you capitalize on it. And when you're going bad, it's just the opposite. So, yeah, everything's rolling along pretty good right now, and we just got to keep it going.
What you like about Zack today?
Everything, and it was a tough week for him. I had the baby and wasn't able to get a lot of work in while we were on the road. In a normal situation, probably would have sent him back out there for the 7th, but just because of the fact that just trying to protect him a little bit because he didn't really get that much work this week, we cut him a little bit short, and he did a great job. Threw strikes, got ahead of hitters, stuff was good. He's Zack.
He's really been locked in for really since those first 3 starts.
Yeah, he had the short spring training and got off a little bit slow just because of that. And now he's back to where, what we saw last year.
Familia made a defensive mistake about a week and a half ago, and then he made another defensive mistake today. Is that something that you guys have talked to him about or have plans to?
Yeah, we're always working with these guys, trying to get them better, and they all have objectives to work on, and so we just keep hammering away at those types of things.
Now, Corey was up and he looked hot.
Yeah.
And then you got the run. Does this impact him tomorrow?
No, not really. Not really.
How about Sanchez pitching that night? I know you talked a lot about trusting the young kids. How hard was it for him to go into that inning and then how well he did?
Well, so let me backtrack a little bit. Corey was a little bit tight in the shoulder, so I shut him down
As he was
warming up. Okay.
Bring him in a 4-0 game if he's
Yeah, probably if he's 100%. But
called down. If somebody called
yeah,
down.
and I said just shut him down. We'll go with Sanchez. Once we scored the 4th run, I felt comfortable and to let him go.
Is that like a concern? Did you guys?
Well, we'll reassess him tomorrow.
What about just getting back over 500 first time since I think you guys were 3-2?
Yeah, it's great. And like I said yesterday, now you're at 500. Now we're shooting for 5 over. And once we get there, then we shoot for 10. Just keep moving forward.